It's not, you're not dreaming. You're not dreaming. It is 2 new 80s Revolution videos in like a span of 4 days or so. Not even 4 days. It's been like a day and a half since I posted the Karate Kid unboxing video with my sidekick. It's been a day and a half. You're not dreaming. I'm back again. I'm back again with another video, and you haven't waited months for it. It's happened within a span of 48 hours. Why is that happening? Why is the New 80s Revolution back down here in the cave doing another video for you so soon? Why is that happening? Well, because you're asking for it. You're demanding it. And it's time for me to get recommitted to this project, to this channel, to this journey into the 80s, back to the past, into your lives. So we're back tonight with a video, and it's going to be simple. It's going to be a simple video. It's going to be another, you might remember when we started the 2019 room tour and we hit every single shelf and we made our way to over there. We went over here. Actually, we were over here, and then we went all along there, and we went over to there, and we stopped right there. We're going to pick it back up again. We're going to talk about this area here in a minute. We're going to talk about this thing here in a minute. But first, a few things, a few, what do I always say? A few housekeeping nuggets. First of all, this video tonight is dedicated to Jeff Robinson. You have seen him in the comments. You have seen him on the Facebook page. You've seen Jeff Robinson. Some of you know Jeff Robinson. Wow, my hand was really big just then, like 3D. Some of you know Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson is going through some physical stuff, some health stuff, and he might be laid up in a hospital right now watching the New 80s Revolution. So I just want to say, get well soon, Jeff Robinson. All the best to you. Hope you're doing well. I've appreciated your fandom, your following, your comments. You're always leaving comments in the videos. You're always leaving comments on the Facebook page. And without those comments, this whole channel wouldn't exist. So thank you. And get well soon, brother. I hope all is well. I hope they're taking care of you in the hospital. Hope you're getting a little extra, lemon ice or a little extra Jell-O packet, Jell-O cup, if you will. Jeff Robinson, get well soon. This video is dedicated to you. Also want to say what's up to Jackie. Jackie is a big fan of the channel. Jackie is active on my Instagram page as well. Jackie's always trying to get me Nintendo games that I don't have. So I want to say hello to you, of course, and everybody else. Everybody else that I am just so enamored with. My people, my fans. Stuntman Mike. If you guys read some of the comments in the Karate Kid Neca unboxing video, Stuntman Mike has been saying, look, get more active, okay? Don't go away. Don't go away for months and think that that's a good thing. Let's see more of the New 80s Revolution. In fact, let's do like every 7 days or so. And let's do pickups, and let's do, footage of me at cons and me out at Goodwill and me, come on, get more creative, get more active with the channel. You know what? For some reason, those comments really, they really hit home, and I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm doing you all a disservice by taking breaks or taking a lazy way out on the channel. But no more is the plan as I sit here tonight. No more of that. We're going to get active. And I like the idea of every con that I've ever gone to, I have missed opportunities to show you guys, my interactions with the people that I'm meeting. Liam's New 80's Revolution Jr., Liam, his interactions with the celebrities, just the fun that we're having in the hotel, swimming in the pool, stuff like that. And like, I know I like watching that stuff on YouTube, believe it or not. Like I really love, for some reason, and I hate reality TV, so I don't know why I like this, but I like watching people's lives, right? So I would actually watch like somebody going to a con, but like I wouldn't care much about the footage that they captured of like the tables and stuff. I would care more about like their experience in the hotel and what did they eat and what did they do, and that's for some reason I like that. But yet hate reality TV. So I don't know if there's, maybe, I don't know, but I like those kind of videos. I like the day in the life videos, so I've missed out on all those opportunities. I just haven't, I didn't do it. I didn't know if you'd be interested. I didn't do it, but I'm going to, and so there's a convention coming up in August that I'm really excited about, the Steel City Con in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be meeting Kane Hodder from Friday the 13th, obviously, and Sean Cunningham, who created Friday the 13th, and Pee Wee Herman is going to be at Steel City Con. I'm going to meet him, and I've heard that the vendors there, it's very retro heavy. So, I'm gonna just get a lot of footage for you guys from the Steel City Con. Unfortunately, my kid's not coming with me, so it'll be just me. But I'm gonna start doing that for you and start showing you some stuff. Just some, I'm just gonna bust the camera out more and get more interaction. So anyway, that's what's going on now. Thank you, Stuntman Mike, for lighting a fire under my posterior. What are we doing tonight? Real quick, we're gonna just a little quick video. We're gonna show this section of the room right now, actually. But first, I want to talk for a few minutes. I want to talk for a few minutes about this thing. This is kind of like the LJNs are over there, and they're the reason why this whole room started, right? So that collection, this massive thing, this massive collection started about probably about 19 or 20 years ago when I started buying back LJNs, right? That's when it started. So, and then it morphed into all of this. It was only just going to be me buying back my LJNs, and then it turned into all of this. So that's kind of like the focal point of the room, the LJN section over there, which you can't see it, but it's over there. It's over there. But this whole thing, this captures an era for me, right? This box, this wood grain, brass, you can't see it, but brass, knobs, and this, to me, this represents, the look of this thing represents my childhood, right? This is my childhood, this thing. And this room wouldn't be complete without, one of these beautiful 25-inch Zenith console TVs, because for all of you guys, all of my followers that are actually kids of the 80s, this was in your home. This was in your living room. This was in your family room. This might have been the only one of these things that you had in your whole house, right? You only might have had one of these, and you, like I, gathered around this thing daily, right? And your introduction and exposure to Saturday morning cartoons was on this thing, right? Your Karate Kid, your Goonies, your HBO, your introduction to cable, right? Your Tales from the Dark Side, your Howard Stern on Channel 9 in New York, your WWF wrestling was introduced to you on this thing. He-Man and G.I. Joe and Transformers and Thundercats and Hulk Hogan made their way into your lives from this. And if I could have 4 or 5 of these throughout this room, I would, right? I love these. I love this thing. When I look at this, I'm immediately sent back and transported back to 1984. This thing. And I don't know. I love it. So it's sort of like the it's the foundation of my room. It's the foundation of my childhood. So many things came out of this thing and into my heart and stayed in my heart. And I know that might be overly dramatic, but you know, if we're going to show off this section of the room, I obviously have to tell you why this is so important to me. And I'm gonna go around the camera and I'm gonna show you, more of this. I'm literally sitting right next to one of these, which is hooked up. There's a game in it because my 3-year-old loves playing Chopper Command from Activision. Right, so we got this bad boy set up here, and this, this big clunky black box. This one happens to be all black. I think this is called the Vader. I would really like the wood-grained Atari as well. I have this, and I have the Atari Junior. I'd really like the wood-grain Atari. But this, again, when you pair these things, when you pair these two things, forget about the NES. Just put that out of your mind for a moment. When you put these two things next to each other, you are rocketed back to your childhood. So I will never pack this up. I will never, the box for it is right up there. I will never put this away. I will never unplug it. I will never take the game out. I will always leave the game in there, because this is what my living room floor looked like in 1984. This thing sat there, and I would sit right here. This was the way I looked in 1984. And in 1985 and 1986, this is the way I looked. Okay, in front of this big thing, and then eventually into some things that looked like this or a little bigger than that. But so this section of my room, right, this television, I don't know. This is it, man. This is, and these things were so awesome because, like, right now, you saw me pick this up a couple months ago. I did a pickup video about how I grabbed this JCPenney TV from a Salvation Army for like $8.99 or $9.99. So this sits on top of the TV so that, because actually the Atari looks better on this smaller TV than it does on this. This one is starting to go a little bit. So this might actually get replaced someday. And so the screen is kind of shrinking a little. And the color's not as great. But on here, the Atari looks great. And so, we play Atari on this little guy. But let's go around and take another look. But no fancy editing tonight because I want to get this video up quick. Let's just spin around and let me bring you with me, okay? All right, so this is what we're looking at. So here's my full-on view of that area. All right. So we come up here and you know that, okay, remembering back in time, think about your mom and dad's, family room, and think about this beautiful TV/furniture item in your living room. And you know that this whole area, this whole top was decorated, right? It was, There might have been a lace doily on top, right? And I haven't said the word doily in decades, but there might have been a lace doily on top. There might have been some photos on top. You know, there might have been some decorations. There might have been a candy dish, because not only was this a television, right, but it was also a piece of furniture. And you had to decorate it. You had space. But most of us, right, if we were really lucky, most of us had one of those on top of our TV, the VCR. Now, they didn't look like that, because that's definitely a 90s VCR, right? But we had our VCR, most likely a top loader, stashed nicely on top of our TV. And if you had a dad like mine, you had the rewinder, the VHS rewinder. That's what this thing is. Look at that. That's the VHS rewinder, right? Because you couldn't possibly rewind your VHS tapes in your VCR, because somebody told somebody that it would ruin the VCR. And so you had to go out and you had to buy this extra piece of machinery, and you had to rewind your VHS tapes, right? And of course we had our remotes on top, right? So here's a little bit more of a modern remote. I believe that's the VCR remote, I think. But look at this. That's my Zenith Remote. So you know this TV is maybe from like 86 or so, when we started getting the remotes. But the early remotes were actually attached to the TV. Could you imagine that? Attached to the TV. So you had to get up and, you know, walk to the TV to change the channel. But you had a remote, but it only stretched like 3 feet or so, right? So, I don't know, crazy. But tonight I was gonna talk about these guys, or this section here. I was gonna talk about the Neca horror collection, right? But I figure I'll save that for an exclusive Neca Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street collection on its own. But over here in the retro living room section, I've got a couple of other things to show you that I'm really actually happy to have. This thing, ladies and gentlemen, if we have any younger fans of the channel, this is called the telephone. Chase Party, if you're still watching, my man Chase, this is called a telephone, right? And that's how we would call you. We would just, you know, we would pick up the phone and we would dial some numbers, right? 555 or something, and we'd talk. And they had one of these cord things on it, right? So you could only go about 5 or 6 feet away from your mom. So you couldn't really talk. And then over here, the thing that Pinhead's standing on and Jason is guarding, this is an answering machine, right? So there's today's version of, or 1985's version of voicemail. And look at this. So we got the phone. Of course, the phone needs to be next to the answering machine. And what do we do here? A tape? You know, cassette tapes? What? That's how we did it? If I called you and you weren't home, this cassette tape would play, and you'd have some cheesy message on there, or maybe you bought one of those gimmicky 1-800, you know, late night gimmicks that put song recordings on your answering machine. But there it is. There's your telephone and your answering machine. So if you call me, right, if you call the New 80s Revolution at 555 Revolution, and I'm not home, that thing is going to pick up your voice. So you better leave me a message after the beep so that I can call you back. All right, let's come back to you. So like I said, Stuntman Mike inspired me to keep it going a little bit. And so I wanted to just jump down here and do this quick video, right? So this is, this deserves its own section of a room tour. We'll get to the shelf and the Neca and the horror stuff, and we'll do the rest of this wall another time, and we'll talk about the Darth Vader head and the Sylvester Stallone over the top 16-inch figure over there, and we'll talk about my Popples garbage can. We'll do all that. But I wanted to talk about this thing. And through the I've benefited from the popularity of retro, right? So, you guys have seen, if you watch older videos, you saw how, 2 or 2.5, 3 years ago, I started collecting television shows on DVD. And the first 2 shows that I bought like 3 years ago was Roseanne and The Cosby Show from Walmart. They were $29.99 each, and I bought them both, and I set them up here. I actually put Roseanne and The Cosby Show right here, right? And then it took off. Then it became an obsession. It soaked into me, and when something soaks in, I can't stop. And so that television DVD collection has grown and grown and grown, and then it expanded into cartoons, and I've got so much unwatched stuff that I literally don't watch TV today. I don't watch any modern TV. I watch the Yankees on the Yes Network, and then when the Yes Network, or when the Yankee season is gone, I call Hulu Live and I cancel my subscription to Hulu Live. My kids are entertained by Hulu itself. They're entertained by YouTube. They don't need it either. They don't need this. They don't need cable, is what it's become. They don't need the exposure to the garbage that's on TV today. My 7-year-old, the boy Liam, the New 80s Revolution Jr., he's just started my Scooby-Doo, complete Scooby-Doo collection, so he's in love with that. We made our way through the Turtles, so the original Turtles set, all 9 or 10 seasons. We got the real Ghostbusters to knock off someday. I got G.I. Joe. I got Transformers. I got Transor Z. I've got a ton of 80s cartoons that I have not, some of them I haven't even taken the package off. But anyway, I could do, and maybe we'll do like a sub show, we'll do a special show on 80s TV and what it meant to me. And the old show that I did on here with the other guy, we did an 80s TV themed episode, but I need to dedicate an entire show to how important this thing was, and how influential and comforting, and man, when I think about the past, I think about the toys that are in this room, but I think about Saturday mornings. I would get up, and I'll save this for the official 80s TV themed show, but Saturday mornings I would get up and get my bowl of cereal, and a lot of times the rest of the house was still asleep, and I would sit in front of this thing on Saturday morning, and I would have a list of the cartoons that I was going to watch, and when I was going to change channels, and when I was going to switch shows. And if there's anything more comforting, if there's any memory more comforting, or any memory that captures a period of time for me, it's either laying on the couch, eating a bowl of cereal, or sitting on the floor with a blanket over my shoulders, probably sitting too close to this than I should, because you'll go blind. It'll ruin your eyesight if you sit too close to the television. Or that classic pose where you're on your belly, sprawled out in front of the TV, just watching it. If there's nothing more comforting of a memory than that, I don't know what is. When I want to feel my warmest, it's just memories of this. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have a life outside of the house. I had friends in the neighborhood, and I rode bikes, and I played kickball, my parents didn't let me just be consumed by this thing, but they, it was different back then. You didn't care back then. We weren't monitoring screen time back then. We had a balance. We had a natural balance that we created. Because there were times when I didn't want anything to do with this thing, and I wanted to go outside, and I wanted to play kickball, and I wanted to build forts, and I wanted to play on the swing set, and I wanted to hang out in the neighborhood and ride bikes and jump ramps and all that stuff. But then there was a time when, you wanted to be comforted by this thing. And so, I spend a lot of time. YouTube is a glorious thing. It's a total opportunity to take a time machine, because there is a channel, and I just think the channel is called 80's Commercials, but there's a channel that has 6 at this point, and they do weekly updates, but I think they're up to like 650 80's commercial episodes, right? So I can go back and watch those old. Anyway, we'll do a special show dedicated to 80's TV. But anyway, I wanted to come on here. I wanted to tell you that I'm listening, that I'm hearing what you're saying. You want more of this. You want more of me. You want more creativity on the channel. It's coming. Don't give up. Jeff Robinson, get better. Thanks for hanging out with me. Good night now.